YouTube. I have not been on here in forever, and I used to use this in a different medium. This is a new channel. It's called The Minister. And what I am intending to do is just to deal with, how do I put this? Here's what the channel is going to be about. It's a Christian channel. I'll probably do some studies on here. I'll kind of give you whatever I feel God has given me and share. I've been out of ministry for a while. I am licensed as a minister. My license comes out of the, if you're black, you'll understand, African church, and it's a Methodist Episcopal mix, so to speak. I'm licensed as an evangelist, was what my license was. I've been away from ministry for a while for quite a few reasons, and sometimes I think we have our own human reasons, but I believe that God allows us to go on our own journey, and His hand is sort of in that, and we'll get into some of that as well. I have dreams. That's how God talks to me a lot of times, since I was, a young kid. And people can believe what they want, but a lot of those things are warning messages to me. I'm starting to see things in our world, and I watch, now that I'm in my 40s, late 40s, I watch the news a lot, and I watch PBS and different news shows. I read news now more than ever. It's funny how that change, that shift happens from our youth to our middle-age period of life, to our more older years, and how we change. And as I'm watching it, there's just a lot going on right now. Things that I don't think I would have thought I would have lived long enough. But not that I would live long enough. I just never thought it would happen in my lifetime. And you know, it's funny because biblically we look at all of the other Christians in the Bible under Paul and all these people who were looking for the coming of Christ, and we're sitting right there. I mean, just right there. And it's ironic. I had done a sermon years ago when I was active, and I had said that when 9/11 had happened, that it started a clock ticking. It's just something that God had put in my spirit, and I believe that more than ever now, as I have seen the shift of things. The war in Iran and Afghanistan, Iraq and Afghanistan, that have opened the door for things that we talked about in my youth at churches I went to growing up. And I would have never thought I would have seen beheadings. I would have never thought that would be a conversation piece, although we know that this is one of the things that was going to come with the end times. The Bible says in a place that even the earth moans and groans for the return of Christ. Our global warming is something that has caused our planet to do some very bizarre things, because it now needs God to come back and fix what we've done bad to it, out of greed and a lot of other issues that we have as humans. The new mindset of what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right is just disconcerting. It's beyond, there's no standard. Even in the muddledness of what we had before, it was not this far left. What we consider heroic behavior because somebody decides to change their gender, they now are a hero, and I might get some flack for this. That's bizarre. And if you say it's bizarre, you're now chastised as not being politically correct, not being sympathetic. You're put under bullying. And so it's very, very odd. Even in our corporations, I'm praying eventually probably to get a work from home position with the company that I'm with, but even with our corporations now, you know, if you go into work, I did work in an environment where I had a person who was going through a change, and they were gender changing. I'm physically looking at a female, but I'm supposed to call her a he. There's just a lot, and don't get me wrong, I have my own set of issues. I don't like to judge people. I do look at the tree for the fruit that it bears. And I have my own thorn, which I'll get into a little later down the channel, but I want you more so to understand what I think God is trying to say. And I just knew that I needed to do something, and I wasn't sure what, and this has been what's been coming to the forefront. But there's a lot going on right now that is disconcerting, and so this channel, I want to deal with that. So I'll start putting videos up here. I don't know, I can't say weekly. I'm going to do what I can do. I've got some personal stuff going on. But I will be putting videos up as I get things. And so feel free to join, feel free to watch, feel free not to join. And hopefully there'll be something in it for those who decide to watch this channel. But I'm just blown away by stuff that I'm seeing. And I see some of the churches as I'm watching, because I do a lot more watching on TV based on my schedule as far as churches are concerned. But as far as what I'm seeing, I see some ministers actually dealing with the end time events that are happening the way they really should. And I see some still into name it, claim it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock word of faith. I believe faith is definitely a factor. But we are in a time where I really think God is speaking something different. And if we're too caught up in our relationship with this world, we may not be ready when He comes back for us. Now, there are some things we need to deal with in order to maybe build a strong relationship with Him. But the materialistic stuff of this world, we're going to have to not be as caught up in. Now, I don't know. Some people believe in pre-rapture. Some people in mid-rapture. Some people believe in post. Either pre or trib or during. I've always been a pre-tribulation person. But sometimes I look at the pattern of how God works. And we'll get in that too. I'll get in some I like to make people think is some of it in the conversations that or dialogue that may happen, and God likes to make me think. And I've been following a couple different. I like Tullian Tchividjian, even though I know he's recently had a fall, quote unquote. They call it a fall from grace because him and his wife were separated, and his wife had an affair, which is why they got separated, and then he had an affair. I do believe we're human and we're going to make mistakes. Trust me, I know that. I'm human. What we do with those mistakes, how we learn from them is another thing. It's kind of like that fall and get up kind of thing that we have. But I liked a lot of his ministry of grace, because right now we have a very damaged world, and we need to deal with grace and relationship hugely in order to be prepared for what I believe is the rapture of the church. I really, I believe we're right there, based on some things that I'm seeing. I'll give a little bit more background on me. I grew up, I won't do this video or the next one. I'll do a little bit of it in this one. I grew up in a predominantly Black Baptist church. Both my grandmothers were Black Baptists, which is how we grew up. And my father's mother, I stayed with more. So I grew up with a grandmother that I used to follow. When I stay over, that woman would fall asleep on her knees praying. That's the woman I knew. That wasn't the woman she was always, but that's the woman I knew. I've loved Christ since I was a kid. I can't even put into the context why. I just did. I've believed in Him even through a lot of the bad abuses I've suffered as a child. All the time. I cannot tell you why. Even when I struggle, even when I fall, I trust Him. And again, I cannot tell you why. All I know is he has had my back for years, even through the midst of the saga and drama of the things that happen in being born into a sinful world and a sinful life. All I know is that he has watched over me in situations that have been beyond belief. He gives me dreams to kind of talk to me, to warn me. And people, like I said, people can believe what they want. I can give you examples. I mean, I dreamt, not how he died, but I dreamt my best friend's father's death and her coming back from Germany, and the exact time she called me to tell me that he passed. I didn't know who it was. I just knew somebody was going to call me at this time and tell me somebody passed. And it was within, I don't even think it was even a week in which that took place in my younger days. My gut, everything in me now has been raising up to get back into ministry in some form or fashion. And I've been dreaming on a level that is mind-blowing. What I am starting to see in this world is beyond belief. And things that I learned in my youth from studying. We have gone to the Assembly of God for a while with the missionaries Assembly of God. For whatever reason, I always drew to older people, and we used to have, I think they call them RVICs. These are people who travel around, and missionaries who go to smaller churches and help them with things. There's usually a husband and wife, and they'll help them fix up things in the church, or the wife will do things like the bulletin or whatever. They just help with little things, and for whatever reason, they drew to me. And I drew to them. I remember them. And I remember them sending me books to read. Just a closeness. So, we'll bring what we can here to this channel. We'll talk about things. If you have things, you have questions or issues that you want to discuss, I'll be honest. Do I know everything? No. Will God show me some things? Yes. Will I study some things? I'll study to death. So, put it down below, and we'll try to talk about it as best we can. Am I a minister who teaches on the end time stuff? I am not. I just am somebody who God is showing me, knock, 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 knock. One of my favorite scriptures as a kid growing up was in Revelation, which is probably the first book I read to myself. The book I grew up being read, that was read to me all the time, was the story of Job. But the book that I read for myself was I read Revelations from beginning to end. And my favorite scripture in there is, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock, and if any man would open it, I will sup with him and he with me." And it's different phrasing for it, and I believe it's like Revelation 3:20. And that basically talks about an intimate relationship with God or with Christ. And that is what I believe right now is the most necessary thing that all of us need. We needed to heal from all the damages of our past so that we are ready to go when that trumpet blows for the church to be raptured out, because we have to be ready. And if we are not ready, we will be left here. And what is going to be going on here, what we're seeing right now is, it's not even, what we're seeing right now here is preschool stuff in comparison to how bad things are going to get on this planet. And it's my belief that Christ is coming soon. Anyway, welcome to the channel. God bless you. I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday. And I'll be putting some bids up here, like I said, hopefully weekly. I can't guarantee that, but we'll try. Peace, joy, love, and happiness.